A number such as square root of 2, square root of 3, and so on is known as a surd. So unlike logarithm, exponent, and so on, surd also have some rules that guides us on how to deal with problems involving surd. So let's focus on these rules one after the other. So the first one is when we have two surd multiplying each other. So let's say we have square root of a multiplied by square root of b. So this simply equals to square root of a times b, which is square root of ab. Now, what if the surd turns out to be likely surd? What if they are the same? So when two likely surd are multiplying each other, let's say we have square root of a multiplying square root of a. So this simply equals to square root of a times a, and which is what? Square root of a squared. And square root of a squared is a, because squared and root will cancel each other. Now, what if surd is dividing each other? Now, let's say we have square root of a dividing square root of b. So this simply equals to the square root of their division overall, a over b. Now, the next thing you need to be familiar with is when you have a surd raised to an exponent. So let's say we have square root of a plus square root of b all raised to the power of 2. Okay, now what this simply means is that we are having square root of a plus square root of b, to be multiplying itself one more time, so that we have square root of a plus square root of b. So that's what this simply means. Now, we are still going to be using the idea of the previous rules, because we said, let me use different ink. We said square root of a times square root of a is simply a, and square root of b times square root of a is simply square root of ab. Now, what we need to do is just to expand this bracket by distributing whatever we have here with whatever we have at this point. Okay, now in order to do that, square root of a multiplied by square root of a, we said is simply a. So we have a, let me use different ink. So we have a, then square root of a multiplied by square root of b becomes square root of ab. Then square root of b multiplied by square root of a is still square root of ab plus square root of ab. Then square root of b multiplied by square root of b becomes positive b. Now we can add this together since they are like terms. So we have a plus 2 root ab plus b. So that's what this simply equals to. Okay, so if you have a surd raised to an exponent, so what you need to just do is just to expand the surd and simplify it further. Now, what if we are having something like this expression over here, but with different in sign? What am I saying? Let me write it so that you can get more better. What I'm saying is essence is that, what if you have an expression like this? Square root of a plus square root of b, then multiply by square root of a minus square root of b. Now, how can we express this? Like, how can we simplify it? Okay, we are still going to do the same step we did, but I think the result will be different. Not even I think, the result will be different. Okay, so let's distribute everything for each term respectively. So we are multiplying square root of a with square root of a. Okay, we said it earlier that it's still a. So square root of a times square root of a is still a plus square root of a. Now, at this point, the sign is different. It is minus that is associated with the square root of b. Over here, what am I saying is, it is minus that is associated with this square root of b. So it means the minus will still be there. So square root of a multiplied by minus square root of b becomes minus. So it means we need to eradicate this positive sign we add over here. Okay, so we are adding minus. This will be minus square root of ab. So positive square root of b multiplied by square root of a. Now this one is positive, and positive times positive, we know that is positive value. Okay, so we are still going to have positive value here, mod a b. Okay, hope you guys are following. Now we said positive sign multiplying negative sign is still going to turn out to be a negative sign. So square root of b multiplied by minus square root of b becomes minus b. The square will cancel each other, then we are still going to have minus b alone left. But minus square root of ab plus square root of ab, we cancel each other and we have a minus b left. So it means when we have an expression like this, whereby the sign is different and we have likely sword, then the expression will just be something like this. So the last thing you need to be familiar with in sword is the conjugate of a sword. So if you have square root of a plus square root of b, and you are being required to find the conjugate of this particular sword, then its conjugate will just be equals to square root of a minus square root of b. The only difference will just be the sign. If the sign is initially positive, then the final sign will be negative. While if the initial is negative, then the final one will be positive. So basically, these are the things you need to be familiar with in sword. So let's try to work out some examples. So let's say we have square root of 28 plus square root of 175, and then minus square root of 63. Square root of 63. It turns out that 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 7 is 28. 25 times 7 as well is 175. While 7 times 9 or 9 times 7 is 63. So let's replace these values with whatever we have over here. So we are replacing 28 with 4 times 7, while 175 with 25 times 7, and 63 with 9 times 7. So therefore, for the first part, which is square root of 28, we are going to have square root of 4 times 7 plus, while for the 175, we have 25 times 7, and for the last one, 63, we have square root of 9 times 7. Right? Now we said square root of a times b equals square root of a times square root of b. So therefore, let me rub it up. So therefore, we can split. The hell is this? So we can have square root of 4 times square root of 7 plus square root of 25 times square root of 7 minus, I just need to create some little space. Let me just rub this up. Hopefully you guys have written this. Okay. So minus square root of 9 times square root of 7. Okay. Now square root of 4 is 2. 2 times square root of 7 becomes 2 root 7 plus square root of 25 is 5. 5 times square root of 7 is 5 root 7. So we have 5 root 7. Then minus square root of 9 is 3. And 3 times square root of 7 is 3 root 7. Okay. Now we can sum this up by what? By adding them together. So 2 plus 5 root 7. 2 root 7 plus 5 root 7 becomes 7 root 7. And minus 3 root 7 becomes 4 root 7. So it means our final answer becomes 4 root 7. So here's another question for you. Square root of 24 minus 3 root 6 minus square root of 216 plus square root of 294. Now, feel free to pause the video and work this question out. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do that now. Okay? So, let's move into this. Now, it turns out that 6 times 4 will give us 24, and 36 times 6 will give us 216, while 49 times 6 will give us 294 rather. Let me write it out so that you guys will be able to figure it out. So 6 times 4 equals 24. 36 times 6 equals 216. While 49 times 6 equals 294. Okay, now it means we can replace them with the particular values that we got. Okay, so it means for square root of 24 we can replace with 6 times 4. This means we can have 6 times 4 square root of 6 times 4 minus 3 root 6, the minus. Now for square root of 216 we can replace it with 36 times 6. So we have square root of 36 times 6. While for the last one, which is 294, we said for 294, 49 times 6 is 294. So we can have square root of 49 times 6. Now, just like what we did earlier, we can split this into two forms. So we can have square root of 4 times square root of 6 minus 3 root 6 minus square root of 36 times square root of 6 plus square root of 49 times square root of 6. So square root of 4 is 2, 2 times root 6 is 2 root 6, then minus 3 root 6 minus square root of 36 is 6, 6 times root 6 is 6 root 6, we have 6 root 6 plus square root of 49 is 7, 7 times root 6 is 7 root 6, so we have 7 root 6. So let's sum this up. So 2 root 6 minus 3 root 6 minus 6 root 6, so that's minus 7 root 6 plus 7 root 6. So this simply equals 0. So the final result here is 0. So hopefully you guys are now getting familiar with how to deal with problems involving surds. What you need to do is just to split whatever figures you are given into a form whereby it will include a perfect square figures, so that you'll be able to simplify further by finding the square root of whatever you have as your perfect square. Okay, now let's try to work out one more example. Now here is an exercise for you. So we have 5 root 24 minus 3 root 45 minus 6 root 150 plus 4 root 80. So and this is the second one. Okay, now if you want to me to review your answer, you can comment it in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys in the next video.